So for this tutorial, we're going to be looking at how to use GeoH Track to achieve this arc line effect, or whatever you want to call it. You could see the light trail being emitted from his fingertips up at the top. Doing this manually could be a little bit tedious and annoying, so I'm going to show how we can constrain that point to a path and just, kind of let it do its own thing for the most part. So here I have a basic camera solve. Nothing crazy going on, just a basic free move with some points that I freely solved and locked into position. Did a little cam smooth, and that's about it. I also have this point here that I've tracked to his fingers that we can use for our GeoH object. So with all that being said, let's jump in. So this is going to be a very fast tutorial, I think. So let's head over to GeoH Track, and you can see I split my views here. What you're going to want to do is come over to Cam and Perspective. You're going to get this, and then come up to your top left little button here and pick one of these perspectives. It doesn't matter which one. And now you got a perspective view that you can orbit over here, and you have one that you can monitor your shot with. Sometimes it's handy to be able to click GeoH objects from your camera view, so it's nice to have an actual perspective camera here. So now, what are we going to do? We're going to make a GeoH object that kind of sits at the base of my friend's neck here, and that object is just going to hover up and down, and it's going to point towards wherever his hand is extended. So how do we make the GeoH object? First, let's do a little bit of cleanup. This is kind of messy looking. I'm going to hide the matrix by coming over here, little eyeball, and I'm going to take the camera size down by coming up to Edit, Scene Settings, Camera Size. There we go. Much better. Now to do this GeoH object, we're going to be under GeoH Track, come over to GeoH Toolbar, and now turn on GeoH Create. Now when you shift and left click in your viewport, you're going to be making this little object diamond, and it's going to snap itself to, I guess, some invisible planar surfaces here with the grid. You can see it floating around in space. I kind of want it on the ground, so I'm going to drag it down here and kind of hope that it's, yeah, there we go. I kind of noticed it's been doing this grid thing, which I've never really noticed it do before, honestly. So I'm going to do it again just for fun. So I think it's going super low right now. Yeah. So if I look at the top view, shift left click, I think it's all on the floor now. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. So I guess it's whatever way you're facing. I knew this was the case before, but I didn't know it was as sensitive as it is. So now I've created this on the ground. Let me undo that because I want to point out if you shift and left click on a mesh, you're going to make the GeoH object, but you're going to have the mesh parented under it, which is, you usually weight paint this stuff and have it deform. So just to let you know, if you have a mesh there and you shift clicked on it, that's going to happen. So for now, let's just get a top view, shift left click, and bring an object right to the center. Perfect. So this is going to be a very simple setup. There really isn't much to what we're going to be doing for the shot. And I also shot this so it's kind of easy for this effect. And in the future, you'll understand why maybe if I get into more complex GeoH tracking. But I made sure this was an easy shot for this. But now what we want to do is we want to bring our tracker for the finger and put it under the object. So which one is that? Let's get a camera view and select our tracker. And over here in the hierarchy view, I still have this view because I changed my view with F2. If you click on some of these rooms with the text, it changes your stuff over here. But I can hit F3, F2, change my views, and we're still under GeoH Track. So over here with the hierarchy, I can't speak. Over here with the hierarchy view, I could drag this tracker under Object 1. Now let's head back to the GeoH Track room, orbit, and now here's what the goal is. We want to create a seed point for this tracker to tell it where it's supposed to be in the world space of this GeoH object. So this object is going to slide up and act as the height for wherever his hand is, and the object's also going to rotate to, point at the direction that the hand is waving in. So we need this tracker to be under the object, which it already is, but we need to give it a lock position, which is going to be somewhere around here. Now, here's how I'm going to do this. I'm going to come over to the tracker tab and just click on my nudge tool, which is going to create a seed point. This seed point, I'm going to lower it down and just kind of navigate it over to around this space, kind of imagining the length of his arm, like pretending it's somewhere around out here maybe. So how do I move this down? This would be easier if I made a piece of geometry and then use place. Another way you could do it is use the transforms right here. And let's hover it down on the Y. Hold shift. Nope, sorry. Oh wow, I lost it. Undo. hold Control when you want more precision. And we'll kind of find its position over here, right on the center line. There we go. That looks a little bit too far out, so let's bring it back on the Z. Cool, and we'll see what this does. So now that we have this, let's go back to GeoH Track, and we'll look specifically at our camera view. I'm going to select our Object 1, and we need to unlock some things so that it's free to move around. So we're on the first frame. If you have messed with this on any other frame and you have keyframes, make sure you go to them, find anything that's highlighted, clear by right-clicking, and clear the keyframes if you see them anywhere. Key is image-based tracking stuff. We're not using a mesh to track, we're using a tracker to drive this GeoH object. So I'm on the first frame, I'm going to turn off key, and I'm going to unlock Y because we want this object to travel upwards to line up with this tracker. So when I click it, I think this is going to fly upwards. It didn't. Great. Okay, so we'll find out why later. I'm also going to unlock pan. It didn't move. What happens if I play? Wow. It's not doing anything. Why is that? So let's unlock this, and here's something I'm going to try. I'm going to move this. I want to translate this up, because sometimes when it's closer to the object, it can find out what it's supposed to do a little bit quicker. So maybe if I unlock it here and hit play. What? Huh. You know what? I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know what's wrong. Wait, what is that? Here's what I might have done wrong. I'm going to select this tracker, come over and to trackers, and okay, so it is not locked. Let's see if that's what it is. That was it. Wow, I can't believe I missed that. All right, so back to GeoH Track. Now that I've unlocked, or I can't, I screwed this up. Oh man, this tutorial was going kind of cool up until now. So now if I select the object here, let's just close this down, close this, and take a little peek at things. We can see that we have this point is now slowly arcing across the screen. It's not going very fast though. It looks like I may have chosen a position that's too far out, and I don't know the length of his arm really. If you feel like the depth is wrong and you want to fix it, you could select your tracker, come to tracker, and we can still adjust the position of the seed point, so maybe bring it closer to him on the Z. This is based on the object space, so Z is going to pull it towards his face rather than following the world space Z. So it's a local Z to the object. So let's bring it in and just see what this does if I bring it in closer. Back to GeoH and just hit play. And see if it has a better travel path, a more interesting path. Yeah, that looks a lot cooler. And like I said, you could see that object is traveling up and down, and it's rotating, and that's all it's doing. So that is literally it. Yeah, that's all it is. Very, very simple thing to do. And when you export this, you're going to have a locator here for in any software that you bring this track into. And then you can parent your stuff to it. You can emit particles and do whatever you need to do. Put a giant arrow pointing from his head outwards, wherever he's pointing. Don't know why you'd want to do that, but hey, whatever, you're a weird person. I'm not judging. So that is about it, and hopefully I did a little effect shot to go along with this. Otherwise, kind of a boring video. Honestly, it's so simple. I did this to replace a bigger tutorial that I was supposed to do, so get off my back. All right, enjoy the rest of your night or morning, I don't care. Later.